Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hello, everybody. This is Chris from the Herf House Podcast, and we're on episode 2. We are on location at the Big Ash Cigar Lounge in Hopewell Junction, New York. And I'm from my left to my right. I have Chris Dandrade, a.k.a. Chris Reels.
What up?
Lamont Pearson, a co-owner of the Big Ash Cigar Lounge.
Where's my AKA?
A.k.a. Big Mont.
AKA LEP.
A.k.a. LEP. I'm sorry. I apologize.
AKA Big Daddy Boot Knocker.
And we have the other co-owner of the Big Ash Cigar Lounge, Mark Morgan, here with us today. So it's all four of us, and we are herfing right there. Oh, your AKAs. I apologize. I'm sorry.
AKA Knockout.
AKA Knockout.
AKA
Knockout! And what are we smoking today? Starting with Chris.
How's everybody doing? I am currently smoking on a McDonald Inspirado. It's a very tasty cigar. McDonald is one of my favorites. I am drinking Noble Oak, which is a very tasteful drink. And I also have Poland Spring. So if you're ever thirsty, make sure you have some Poland Spring.
You have to hydrate. Mark, what are you smoking?
I got a CAO Flathead 660.
Great cigar.
Yeah, really good smoke. Full body. Might be a little much for this early in the day, but yeah, really like it.
Mark?
Smoking the Alec Bradley Max. Culture. About 3/4 body. Very affordable. Nice day-to-day go-to smoke. Excellent for mowing lawns.
Good to know.
And I am smoking the Macanudo Imperado. Did I say that right? Did I say that correct?
Close enough.
With my Spanish accent. Mark's new, first time here with the podcast, and I would like to ask him the same question that I asked Lamont last podcast. With your, what made you want to start this cigar lounge?
So I'm going to try to not give you the same answer because people don't want to hear the same thing over and over. But I got the love of cigars from you gentlemen right here. You know, many years just chilling, drinking, watching y'all smoke while I just drank. and it became, you know, that's why, you know, I think I told Chris Real, give me one. You know what I'm saying?
True.
How you cut this? How you like this? How you smoke this? Before you know it, I was smoking every day.
So your
2, 3, 4 times a day.
your first introduction to cigars was with a premium cigar at the
Yeah, it was premium. I heard your Garcia Vega stories from last week. Yeah, I pretty much started off, you know, I guess I would say with the $7 sticks at the time. And yeah, I don't really.
Do you remember what it was? Chris, do you remember what you gave him?
Mark Twain? No, I'm kidding.
Hey, it might have been at a place that's their top cigar.
It was a Cristal from Garcia Vega. You got to say it fancy.
So anyway, you know, the love just grew, and it grew rapidly. And, you know, as we got to, you know, go on trips to the Cigar Fest and hang out at multiple lounges and drink, and, you know, we always felt like, hey, if this was my place, I would do this. Or if I had my own place, I would do that. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, like Lamont told the story last week or 2 weeks ago, we found the opportunity to have our place.
Yeah.
So now this is our place, and we do what the fuck we want.
How's it been so far?
Love it.
Good. No complaints.
You've met a lot of new people.
I mean, you can't blame everything on COVID, but people come and go. You know what I mean? You meet a lot of people. You meet some interested people. You make some connections. It's easy to get along and talk with anybody with a cigar.
Absolutely.
You know, like-minded people get together, share their thoughts, and respect each other's opinions. And then if you don't like what you're hearing, you just move on to the next conversation.
Or move to a different part of the lounge.
Absolutely, there is room for that here.
Now, I remember you brought up Cigar Fest. I remember the last Cigar Fest we all went to. We met with Alex Bradley, and you had been talking about a lounge. Now, has owning a lounge, and this for you also, Lamont, been what you thought it would be like when you were picturing being a lounge operator? Is it everything that you thought it'd be? Were there new stuff that you didn't think of come up?
Yeah. Right out the gate, a couple months after being
The
open.
reason I say that, I mean, I've thought of, we've all thought about going to lounges, and in my opinion, it's going to be this great thing. It's going to, you're going to walk in, they're going to be, hey, that's my man. And, it's like a TV version of a lounge where everybody's, party every day and everything like that.
Nah, it's not a party every day, but the biggest hurdle and the biggest was understanding the New York State tax. When it was 28.5%, and then
Thanks, Cuomo.
3 months after we opened up, it goes up to 75%.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's a problem. That's an issue, and that's an obstacle that we're trying to work through.
Your interpretation of, was it like what you thought owning a lounge would be? Or is it better than what you thought? Or
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. When we started, I'm sorry for the long pauses. I know
That's all right.
I got the audience on
You're
the
thinking.
edge of
You're
their seat.
everybody,
gonna say
the
next.
suspense is building. What is he going to say?
And then
To answer your question, there's a whole lot of different aspects. Like Lamont said, there's the true business side that's a lot deeper than just ordering a cigar and selling it. There's a lot of things that come into having the business, and more than anything, because we both have full-time jobs, it's the time. All your extra time is working. You're here.
So everything,
when you're not at work.
It's focusing on.
Yeah, so that's the biggest, I would say, drawback is, some days you got to squeeze in mowing the lawn. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I'm going to get up and I got 2 hours to do what I got to do around the house, and then I got to go to the lounge.
I always said this about Lamont, and I would put you in that same category. Like, I felt like you guys always worked on, and I admired it. I mean, it's a great quality, but you guys, it's like team no sleep. I don't think you guys ever rest. I think you guys, between being great business owners, responsible men, taking care of your family, taking care of your wives and your kids, and still being functional is commendable and admirable, because you guys just keep moving. And sometimes I get drained just watching the amount of stuff you guys do.
And owning
Thank
a
you.
business is a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, you have full-time jobs and you have another full-time job
Yep.
where you're worrying about this place and your regular duties. And you
Yeah.
guys are doing a good job. I give you guys credit.
Thank
Black-owned
you.
business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Especially in COVID, you guys seem to be doing pretty well during the COVID time.
Getting through.
From what I heard on Fox News, cigars cure COVID. So you
They
guys
always-
are good.
They always have, they provide a great atmosphere for cigar smoking, and they always have free giveaways like cigar boxes, which I'm sure I'm going to take some before I leave today.
Yeah, they do have great good cigar boxes and complimentary cigar shirts.
Highlighter.
The shirts are not free.
Excuse me, greatly discounted shirts.
Good stuff.
But that let's segue into, let's use that as a segue to talk about, cigars and do's, and we did do's and don'ts, but I think, Lamont, you got some questions on how healthy is a cigar?
Yes. Somebody asked me, like a couple people actually asked me, how healthy are cigars, and if we can speak about, if we can talk on what we know, about the health implications with dealing with smoking. So I was gonna post that question to the group and see if you guys know anything, if you guys want to elaborate on what we know.
Well,
so I'm
go
just
ahead,
gonna.
Chris, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna read this, and I don't want to deter anybody from smoking. It's not gonna deter me, but I'm just gonna read what the first thing that came up when I Googled, and it says cigar smoking can cause lung cancer and heart disease. Tobacco use increases the risk of infertility, stillbirth, and low birth weight. Cigars are not a safe alternative to cigarettes. Tobacco smoke increases the risk of lung cancer and heart disease, even in non-smokers.
Did it mention nicotine?
It did not.
Oh, is there nicotine in cigars?
No, that's in the filter. So cigarettes actually have more chemicals than a cigar.
That's what I thought.
So in my opinion, cigar
I
smoking
think,
is
I think
healthy.
cigars are all natural.
It's all from the earth, yes.
I mean,
And everything is good in moderation. I wouldn't say I smoke moderately because I think last weekend I chain smoked about 4 cigars last weekend. So,
Well, I'll tell you what. Yesterday I went to go get my second COVID vaccination, and it was out in New Paltz, and I smoked 2 cigars on the way up, and on the way back I smoked 2 more. And right now,
New Paltz is 20 minutes away.
Hey man, all right. So
Two cigarillos?
how heavy were you pulling on those cigars?
True story. So I am probably one of the few people on this planet that still does not have an easy pass. So I have to take the scenic route. I can't take the throughway. So that actually
Hey,
helped me.
it's tolls by mail now. You don't need one.
I was not thinking about that.
Hey,
so I was like, let me afford
You don't
it.
have an easy
I
pass?
do not.
I
do
don't.
not.
I don't drive on a bridge, a toll bridge, normally. But I have I've had an easy pass for years, in case.
Don't judge me, Chris.
I mean, wait, do you still have that booklet of the toll tickets that they used to you give them the booklet and they pull the little tab on?
No, I just
come on through.
I just figured the smartest way to do it was take the scenic route, and it wasn't bad. It actually made for great smoking and music listening, and we know how that is, man. Like once you start smoking a cigar and you're driving, you have the music playing. I mean, there's nothing better than that sometimes, and I had the opportunity to do it going up and coming back, and I'm doing it again right now with good people. So
I I hate the fact that you light a cigar up for a drive, and the drive is a lot shorter than you thought it would be. So now you have half a cigar sitting there.
Yeah.
So I usually just sit there for a while, puff, until
I do the same. I sit in the car, try to finish it.
absolutely.
Or I found the perfect cigar holder. You put it in your windshield. On the little arm of your windshield and the blade.
Yep.
Stick it right there.
Yep.
That holds your cigar till you come back out of the store, wherever you was going.
Remember,
Without having it sit in your car, and then
Yep.
it just sits there and it just smokes up because you got your windows up. It smokes up the car and
Yep.
sticks into you in the fabric of your car. I throw it right there on the windshield wiper.
Lamont brings
I
up
tend
the
to
perfect.
I tend to use the side mirror.
There you go.
just leave it sitting
To
there.
Lamont's
side
point and
mirror.
to Knockout's point, you run into a store, you can be in and out of it in a minute. The average cigar takes about a minute before it will go out. So if you know what you need to get, go in there, handle your business, come back out. That cigar will be waiting for you with open arms. So
Now, what do you do if you
That's
can't finish the cigar until the next day?
Do you
You're
cut it?
home now.
Do you cut it?
I mean, when we were at Real's house,
cut it?
we would just leave them there because Real would give us those cigars. Chris would give us the cigars, so we just leave them there.
Yeah, you just
he
leave
would
them.
collect.
Throw them out.
that's awesome.
Who cuts it? Who cuts it and who just lights that ash up?
I light it up and burn it for a while without dragging on it.
Yeah.
Kill all the like retoasting it, and then I start. And it seems to be that first puff is horrid and terrible.
Somebody-
but after a while, it clears up.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Somebody told me, because I just light them up like you said. I toast it up, knock the ash off, and I toast it up. But someone told me if you blow out on the cigar, it gets all that stuff that's trapped inside. I'm not even sure if it's true, but it seemed like it made a difference to me. It makes a difference for me. But, when I smoke it, I blow it out, and then you start smoking it again.
Push
But
all that ash.
Push all that ash and
Dead
everything
ash
out. That
or
yeah.
burnt ash.
And then start smoking again. That kind of works for me. I used to, cut them You know, saying the burnt end. I'll cut it, you know, till it's fresh. You know, to back to beyond the ash or the burnt end, and then light them up again.
Now, do any of you inhale? Because usually cigar smokers, they take the taste and it washes around their mouth. I do inhale.
I don't.
Not a lot, but I do inhale quite a bit.
I don't. I don't inhale, but a lot of it does tend to go up my nostrils.
Yep. I don't do it intentionally, but I noticed that with the milder cigars, I do tend to inhale, which, it's with the amount of years we've been smoking cigars, it's zero impact to me. But I do notice that with milder cigars, I definitely inhale.
I mean, and you inhaling when you do yard work.
Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say that.
Amongst a lot of other stuff.
I keep talking about.
I feel like we know what Knockout's doing when he leaves here.
Listen,
He's
bro,
got some yard work
I
to
can't
do.
do nothing around the house without a cigar. Like even when I'm snow blowing,
Man.
you know what I'm saying?
Great point.
I can't. Like I gotta. Maybe I could start the snow blower and let it idle a little bit.
Oh,
but
man, that's a
then
great point.
if the cigar's not right, the blower don't work. I just
Great point.
like if the cigar's not lit.
That's a great
Yeah.
point.
So I would say
So
needless that you take the opportunity to incorporate cigar smoking in your daily activities.
Yes.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to bring it back to the health standpoint. I mean, to Chris Quintana's point. I mean, everything that you do, as long as you do it in moderations, is totally okay. I mean, too much soda, that can have an impact on you. You know,
Yeah.
Anything you do in excess is going to be a problem for you. So do it in moderations is great. So from a health standpoint, that's not an issue. But Knockout brings out a great point. I want to ask the team, and I'm going to start to the right, so Chris Quintana be ready for this. When you smoke, do you have triggers? What I mean by that is, what makes you want to smoke? So that's my question to you, and I'm going to pass that on.
Good question.
That's a tough question. What triggers me? Life. I take every opportunity, anytime.
Yeah.
And if I'm upset about something, it's either I have a drink, not enough to get drunk, but just something to take the edge off, or I have a smoke.
Lies, you get drunk.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't. But that's
intent.
not
The intent.
the initial intention when I start drinking. That's just a happy circumstance of the drinking. But yeah, it really doesn't take a lot to make me want to smoke, because I love the taste of the tobacco. I love the taste of the smoke. If you get a really good cigar, that's
Great response.
that's all I enjoy.
Yeah.
Mark, excuse me.
Ooh,
His
jump
question.
right all over.
Right. No, well, we're going this way.
That's the right.
Going this way.
So I don't really have any triggers. It's crazy because as much as I would have the opportunity and be just smoking on a daily basis, now that I'll go to work early and sometimes end my day late, I can go days and days and days without having a smoke. I could sit here some nights and cover my shift and not have a smoke.
Wow.
Do you think that's because of the smoke in the air?
Nah, just
You don't have
it's
the
not
urge.
addictive. You know what I mean? That's one thing I will say is absolutely not addictive. I think cigarettes are addictive. I'm not a doctor, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and it's relaxing to me. It's straight relaxation. It's relaxation and meditation for me to have a cigar. There's no rush to I need a drag of this, or I need a hit of this, or I need a drink of this. Like, cigar is straight pleasure. You know what I'm saying? When you're looking forward to having your cigar, I'm looking forward to that relaxation. That moment of relaxation.
It's a great point.
That's it, man. I feel like that's the same way with cigars. I feel, it is, people keep asking, like, why do you smoke? I always get those questions. Why do you smoke? What does it do for you? And it relaxes me. You know what I'm saying? My mind is always running, saying 1,000 miles per hour. And it actually relaxes me, actually makes me slow down and, start to, kind kind of think a little bit more, kind of concentrate on, maybe one thing, you know what I'm saying, and get some of the thoughts, that are swirling around in my head, get them together. But, it's actually just cigar yoga, was that hashtag cigar yoga, you know what I'm saying? It actually relaxes me. And I think Mark said that he don't have no triggers, and he just telling us about yard work. That sounds like a trigger to me. But it is for me.
Yard work again, goddamn, that grass grew fast.
It is for me though, like yard work. I feel like I got to fly up a stick just to do yard work, which is crazy. And what you call it, driving, man. Like it's just like something about driving, especially if you're going long distances, and lighten up a stick and just mellow out. Either put on some music or put on a podcast or something like that, and just drive. I feel like that, like Mark was saying, it's not. I don't believe that it's addictive, but I think there's certain things where it's just like I want to do this with a smoke. You know what I'm saying? I want to. Mellow out. Just an opportunity to mellow out.
To clarify, I feel like kind of what Chris Steele was saying is that you don't care about the time. Mm-hmm. When you have a cigar lit, it's not a chore for you anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, I got a 90-minute cigar here. Mm-hmm. I don't mind, doing this task for the next 90 minutes. You know,
right. You're right.
So
it's like if I have usually I light up if I have a long drive by myself, I will purchase cigars size and pick the size on the amount of time I think I'm going to be alone in that vehicle. Like when I would meet you guys at Cigar Fest, always let me find the biggest cigar that would last me the whole ride,
trip, yeah.
so I'm not having to have to cut one while I'm driving or relight one. And you're right, it is, you put on whatever music you want to hear. If you want to listen to a podcast, you want to hear whatever it is. And that made that ride go a lot quicker than normal. Mm-hmm. The mental perception.
Yep.
Just smoking that cigar the whole way. Mm-hmm. And it was usually the biggest flathead, CAO flathead I would find. Yep. And I knew, all right, it takes me about an hour and a half to finish this cigar, normally not driving. So doing that 2 hour ride is going to go by pretty quickly because I'm just enjoying the cigar.
Yep.
So I know Chris Rio still has to answer his own question, but I just got a quick question for you guys. Who doesn't have burn marks in their car?
Me.
Well, not. Well, your shit is brand new. You got a brand new car. Who does it? Like, it seems like as careful as I try to be in any 3 of my vehicles that I drive on a normal basis, there's always. I mean, I had a company vehicle that the lighter wouldn't go out, and it burnt the fucking center console.
Yeah. Hate those.
Wait, I've tried my last car. I had that built-in lighter, and I never used it. But I had no matches. I had no lighter. I couldn't find it. It must have fell between the seats or something in the car, so I had to use it. It was horrible trying to light a cigar with that old-ass lighter that's built into the car.
Yeah, that
was
don't
just
work.
horrible.
I don't think they make them no more.
Yeah.
So you saying you was driving an 89 what?
Ford LTD, 1973. Best car in the world. Go ahead, Chris.
You got 2 questions.
Yeah. Oh man, that one's easy. There's a ton of cigar burns in my truck, and most of them are from you gentlemen, to be honest. But
oh man, I knew that was going to come.
Where's Kevin at?
Don't be Kevin.
Don't be Kevin.
In my Sonata, when we first went up to Cigar Fest, the first burn I got in my car was Kevin on that seat. Right in it must have dropped right between his legs.
Yep.
Hey, we're going to count Lamont's pee breaks today, okay?
So to answer that question, do I have triggers? I definitely do have triggers. So what I mean by that is that there are days where I know that, hey, it's my day off. I plan on smoking a cigar. The triggers that I'm referring to are those moments that I had no intentions of smoking, but I end up doing these things, and it calls for a smoke. So the minute I open the lid to my grill, I have to light up a cigar. That's
nice.
Yes. Almost, God, yes.
Yeah, almost immediate. That's
even before I even prep the food to bring it out. The cigar is lit and waiting outside.
Yep. Agree 100%. So it's almost subconscious now, like to the point where I don't even have a cigar with me. I don't have anything. But what I've learned to do is I keep a lot of the cigar accessories in the garage. So the minute that I open up that grill, I already know it's gonna happen. So I pop open my garage. I grab my accessories. I pick the cigar. So now I'm grilling and I'm smoking my cigar. That's definitely a trigger. Barbecuing always prompts me to want to smoke. Drives, long drives. When I'm driving, once I get into that mode and I'm driving, I definitely feel like I need to light up. So the beauty of it is I always keep a backpack, and the backpack always has at least half a dozen cigars, different choices, and that's my other trigger. So driving and barbecuing. The other one is when I'm just in good company, like right now. Honestly, coming into this, I'm like, I'm probably not going to smoke because I just told you guys I had 4 cigars yesterday, and the plan was for not to smoke during this podcast. But I'm with my good friends, I'm having a great time, and I want to have a cigar, and those are my triggers. Great company, drive time, and barbecuing. Always triggers for smoking.
I think that's for all of us. Get a great company, you know what I'm saying? When we get together, that's probably the trigger that we all share.
With that, go ahead, buddy.
I'm done.
With that said, I just want to run down what the internet believes are the 9 top reasons to smoke a cigar. So their first one is the birth of a child. That's the reason number 1 for smoking. Number 2, celebrating a victory. Number 3, personal milestones. Number 4, getting married, which I did have cigars at my wedding. I'll just put that out there.
Yes,
Number 5,
a lot of cigars.
holiday celebrations. Number 6, birthdays and anniversaries. Number 7, relaxation, which we all agree 1,000%. Number 8, camaraderie, which we are doing right here and right now at Big Ash Cigars. Number 9, taste, aroma, and enjoyment. I would probably challenge that should be number 1, but those are the top 9 reasons why the internet believes you smoke a cigar. Just wanted to share that.
They couldn't find the 10th?
Yeah, right? They should have been around. And
it's usually the top 10.
You know I'm OCD. I'm a little bothered by the 9. It should be a round number.
So here's the 10th. Because.
Just
smoke
because.
cigars because you can.
Agreed.
Because you can.
Now, would you categorize, I saw this online on one of the cigar pages last night, would you categorize the reason you smoke cigar as 1, an addiction, 2, a hobby, or 3, a lifestyle? For me, it was a hobby. Now it's a lifestyle. It's part of what I do.
I hate to use the word addiction because addiction means you can't control it, but I can't control it. I need to smoke, so I'm addicted.
Speak your facts, son.
Show your vulnerability.
Correction. Cigars are addictive.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first step in rehabilitation, right?
You got it. Yeah. Now it's a lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
Cigar life, man.
Mark?
I would roll with the lifestyle. I would definitely roll with the lifestyle. I think once we was just talking about a little bit of retirement before we hit play, and I think it'd be a better lifestyle once we all retired. I think we could step up our hat games a little bit, our dress game. You know what I'm saying? Be donned out a little more. You know what I'm saying? Watch little TV, sports, and smoke cigars. For a living.
Yeah,
that's a lifestyle when you can do it for a living.
I was reading one of the cigar books. I think it was an Alfuente book, and they said that the origin of cigars came from 3 different purposes. The first one being for social gatherings. When tribes met other tribes, like they would partake in tobacco or cigar smoking. The other one was for meditation. So cigar smoking was a great part of meditation. And the other one, which surprised me, was in some instances, and we know that there was a point where the medicine world was not where it needed to be, but tobacco smoking was actually used as a form of medication. So I'm not sure what they prescribed it for. I don't think it's going to help against COVID. Well, I think it is helping against COVID.
If you listen to some news outlets, yes, it does.
Right.
Stop COVID.
But those were the 3 origins of tobacco smoke or cigar smoking. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, it's like, you're talking about how medical science was way back then. I mean, they would give you cocaine as a treatment to things. And Coca-Cola was made with cocaine back at the hence the name Coca-Cola.
Yeah. There's a lot of things from back in those days. I mean, we don't know what type of tobacco leaves or, a lot of lost medicinal uses for plants and everything that we've lost, throughout the years that, should have been passed down. But, they had a cure before we had pills. They had a cure for everything in plants, so
Yeah.
I can understand where that,
Natural is not profitable.
no, Chris Rock said ain't no money in the cure.
Exactly.
The only money in
Exactly.
keeping you sick.
Exactly.
But back to the risk of cigars and stuff. They do say, like, online you can find, like, it does cause gum disease, loss of teeth, potential for cancer of the gums and cancer of the mouth. But like I said, everything in moderation. I mean,
Exactly.
That's the key.
moderate everything, and
Well, the teeth law kind of explains some of the folks that we see at different cigar venues.
they don't factor in their brushing habits.
Yeah.
And,
Sorry, man. I just
There was a woman, I don't even know if I should plug her, but it was, no. I'm saying it in a positive way. There was a woman, I'm plugging, I don't know a lot about her, but she is called the Cigar Dentist on Instagram. And I started following her, and I was looking to see, if she was putting any facts or anything like that. I'll probably try to look her up as we're talking here. But
I think it comes back to that mouth disease and cancer from what we talked about last time about the old school smokers. They would keep that leaf in their mouth and just chew on the end
sure.
until it became like a wadded, muddy mess of leaves.
Sure.
I mean, I don't do it. I don't see you guys have ever done that. So, like I said, everything in
There
slight
was-
moderation.
There was probably a time where we did it because we saw it on TV and thought that was the way to do it.
Or we were drunk while we were
Oh,
smoking.
yeah,
and
absolutely.
just never took it out of our mouth.
Absolutely.
I remember the one time with you, Chris Real, we were at a barbecue at your house, and we must have chain smoked
Oh, my God. I remember. Oh, my
a
God.
dozen each of those Thompson cigars. We were lighting the cigars with the cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And we were outside
Best
for
way to
hours.
light 'em.
And I remember he said to me, he was like, look how much we smoke. He had that glass container that had all the cigars. There was like 2 or 3 left. It was like
Yep.
1 o'clock in the morning. We're still outside smoking cigars all night.
From a barbecue that started at like 11 o'clock that day. It was
In the afternoon, yes.
ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Ridiculous.
And I do remember how bad my throat
Yep.
hurt and how raspy my voice was for the next couple of days after that. But
And if you remember in our last podcast, one of the things that I told you to folks who are getting into the cigar business is to stay away from those bulk packaged
Those bulk-
cigars. And that's exactly what we were smoking that day.
buy 30,000 cigars for $10. And you get this whole 3 or 4 packages in the mail, and they're just awful. They're just awful. But you smoke them because that's all you had at the time.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about some different topics. I really do want to get into, as long as everybody's okay with that, I really do want to get into DMX. I think he deserves
Yes.
it. Rest in
DMX
peace.
passed away
I
2 weeks ago.
Rest in power.
Yeah,
Dark
2 weeks
Man
ago,
X,
we lost him.
DMX.
I mean, to this day, we call Chris's son X, and that's paying homage to DMX. Great rapper, just a different person, different form. He took the industry by storm. So I'll start right to left and just ask, what were your thoughts on DMX? When did you first hear him? How did you feel? So forth and so on.
When I heard it was really sad, and it also brought in the realization because he was my age. He was 50 years old, born in 1970. And when you start seeing your peers or people your age or people you used to watch as a kid start passing away, you're like, oh my God.
Mortality.
You're bringing up your own mortality. Like, holy shit, what do I need to do different? But like the Bible says, the death comes like a thief in the night. You don't know when it's going to happen. But it was shocking. It was sad.
But I want to hear the first time. I want to remember him in a positive light. I want to hear about when you first heard him. When you were
From you. All joking aside, you were the first person that put me up on DMX. where my dog's at. We were sitting in your car, and you were like, yo. We were drunk. Yo, listen to this motherfucker.
Wait, we weren't driving.
No, we weren't driving,
Okay,
but we were
out there 'cause we were sitting.
Oh, I didn't say the car was able to move. We were sitting in a car that was stationary and not idling.
That wasn't one of Chris Reel's games where he was like, "We got to finish this 40 before the song's over." Was that one of his games?
Not yet, because he was like, yo, listen to this motherfucker. I was like, who is it? This motherfucker DMX. Listen, where my dog? Where my dog at? I was like, fuck, let's go fight.
Yeah.
We need to go fight.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
But yeah, that was the first song you put me up on DMX. First time I heard DMX was when he came out with that album. And that song, Where My Dog's At, I was like, all right, you got to record that for me. I need that on my Zoom.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have an iPod back then. So I need that for my Zoom or my MP3 player that I bought at Walmart.
Naka, how about you, buddy?
So, I mean, big ups, respect to, DMX, his family, Rough Rider family, everybody out there that's hurting from his passing. X was crazy for me. I mean, I always kind of liked the rah-rah rap, you know what I'm saying? And he always brought that rah-rah. I bounced in a few clubs. So
I remember those days.
So I remember, DMX, like whenever DMX, Rough Riders, Eve, that whole little thing was going on. Is Kevin here? Sorry, Chris dropped something, Kev.
Don't be a Kevin.
Don't be a Kevin.
So anyway, so like DMX, that just brings me back to the club days. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like anybody's like, yo, what's your favorite DMX song? Like all of them. But you know what I'm saying?
Word.
I just like if I want to hear DMX, I throw on like Rough Riders Anthem remix. You know what I'm saying? My dogs go.
Oh, yeah.
Your dogs go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then
What?
we
Oh,
Yeah.
now they like, you know what I'm saying? He was more the hype man than the lyricist. He had the lyrics, but I liked his hype.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? DMX was all about the hype.
I agree.
I
agree.
I mean, we learned more about him and his death with all of the, religious aspects of his faith and stuff like that, which was deep because people are more than what they do for a living. You know what I'm saying? He's more than just a rapper. He was a father. He was a mentor to some. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So yeah, he's gonna be greatly missed, and it's unfortunate that it takes somebody's death for you to relive the life that they lived. You know what I'm saying? To remember the life that they lived. So, LEP.
Yeah, you're right with that last part, man. We gotta learn to give people their flowers while they're here. But
Wow, that's real.
definitely, X was my man. Like, we used to have arguments, about hip hop, and you having, who's the best and who's this and that in hip hop, and it was always X would come up, with these, ultra, hip hop intellectuals and be like, but X wasn't lyrical. I'm like, you're crazy with that, but X wasn't just, a dope hip hop artist. It was just like X gave you a feeling, like X made you feel a certain way, like my favorite song was, he had so many hits, damn near everything he did was fire, but my favorite one was the, I think it was called Let Me Fly. Either let me fly or give me death. Let my soul rest, take my breath. Because I don't fly, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to live on, but I'll be gone any day. And that right there resonated. I mean, I love that song. It's just like, let me be me. Let me be who I want to be and love me that way. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Love me for who I am. And, that hit me when X passed, man. I really felt the brother, really liked him, and he had a lot of demons, and I'm hoping that he's resting in power right now.
Man, so dope, so well said. Man, I had so many. I think the first time I heard X, I think I broke one of my furniture pieces. I think a chair was thrown against the wall. But X was
So many chairs.
so many chairs.
But I mean, he was so energetic and he was so powerful. And the thing that I appreciated about X the most was like he wasn't the most lyrical, right? When we talk about you can learn his lyrics probably after the first 2 or 3 times you hear the song, you recognize it. Where some rappers, some genius rappers, you go back and like, oh my God, he said that. But X was just someone that was just so emotional, and you felt every word that he was saying, and I think that's what I appreciated about him the most. And I think you lost me for a minute. Okay,
God.
We're back now. But the beauty of his music was the passion behind it, and that's what I miss about him the most. I remember we went to, I want to say it was Let's Dance, or what was Let's Dance changed into after a while?
DVA? No, Let's Dance was...
It became another club after that.
Yeah.
It was a few different in Poughkeepsie. But anyway, we all went out there, and earlier that day, we were arguing about DMX, and I'm like, yo, you will never hear him in the clubs because it's going to ignite a fight. And we're, no, they got to play DMX, you get the place going crazy, and this is before all of the... party songs came out, like everything that you were hearing was the anthem and Get At Me Dog, all of the aggressive songs. You weren't hearing them, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. That wasn't a thing yet. So we go to this club and all of a sudden all you hear is doom doom. Why must they be so hard headed? Doom doom. I was like, they're really gonna play this. It's gonna happen. It's happening. And I was so excited, but I was also aware because I was like, I know what's gonna happen. And I swear, in less than 10 seconds, a fight ignites on the dance floor, which is awesome because, back then we were super confident. There was probably like 15 of us out. We just made sure we were together. We watched the fight. Nobody approached our side of what was going on. We were super comfortable. We were like, oh, whatever. It was a blast, and it played out to be exactly what I expected it to be. And I don't begrudge the fight. I just believe in the passion and the emotion behind DMX, and it makes people respond different ways, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how powerful he was. I will tell you this: Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, the second album. I slept on it so hard. At the time, I think Lamont, you were in North Carolina. I think you had relocated at that time. You sent me that. You put me up on that album.
Yeah, I had the bootleg.
You put me up.
Sorry.
Well, I bought it at the store. But anyway, Lamont put me up on that, and I could not stop listening to that. And the one song that resonated with me, now I got to your point, I don't think there's a DMX song I don't like. But the one song that resonated with me to this day was I'm Ready to Meet Him. Because how I'm living ain't right. Black hate white, white hate black. It's right back to the same fight. Oh, my goodness. Such a powerful message. And there was a prayer before that. And this was the first time that I heard a rapper actually doing a prayer in his album. So that's where you can tell like there was so many demons he was battling, right? Because he was aggressive, combative, but there was also like he had like this
his faith
in his religion, and so crazy, man. And that's the thing that I'm gonna remember about DMX the most, man. Just my thoughts, but he's a great loss, but his music won't die because I'll keep playing that. In fact, when we leave here, I'm gonna throw that on right now.
Yeah, I want to bring it back to you. Yeah, started on like mortality. Like, how does that make you feel, Chris? About getting like being the same age as that guy. Yeah.
Being the oldest person at the table.
It really
like elder of the church.
It really humbles
being
you.
Being that we wheelchaired you into this podcast.
It kind of humbles you as a person. I mean, to think, because not only you're seeing more and more people, I'm seeing more and more people in entertainment that I watched dying at the age I am now. Like, we all watch Peaky Blinders, right?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, yes.
One of the ladies passed away at 52.
Yes. What was her name? My goodness. She was great. She was the mother. She was the mother.
She was the mother.
Yep.
Passed away of cancer at 52 yesterday.
Yep, good call. 52 years young.
52 years old. And, you start seeing these people just go. And now, I just turned 51. And you're like, oh, my God, anything I do could probably kill me now at this age.
Ready to meet him.
I don't think anybody's ever ready to meet him at that age. But, it really has you thinking about your mortality. And oh, my God. Like I even told my kids, I said, I probably got a good 10 years left. 10 functional years left before. Because don't live right
Yeah.
health wise, but it really is an eye opener once you start hitting after you hit a certain age. And when I hit 50, that was like, oh shit, I'm 50 now.
Yeah.
People my age, people I watched on television as a 20-year-old or as a 30-year-old are now dying.
Yeah.
And it's an eye opener. So then you gotta live every day like it's your last. Like they say, you only live once. No, you live every day.
Yeah.
You only die once.
Yes, exactly.
And that's the kind of mentality now that I'm trying to deal with and get into. Like, hey, it could go at any time. I mean, it could go at any time, even when I was 20. But now, when you're 50 and onward, now you're really thinking about it. All right, I have to prepare it when I'm not around,
And that's
for my family.
That's one of the things I feel like he expressed in his music was just like, yo, you got to live every day, saying, to your fullest, saying? No sense of bullshitting for anyone, saying, and acting like you're something else, saying, just be yourself because, time is short, That was, it was crazy. And to see that tribute outside of the hospital, all those people outside, saying, like, playing his music. And
That's the impact.
Yeah, he was a powerful dude, man.
But you also got to see he touched a lot of people more than just what people perceived as his demographic, because he did the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer song as a rap.
Oh, man.
I think he was in an
that
airport
was
when he did it,
awesome.
and that went viral.
Yeah.
And that got played on like XM Christmas channel.
Yep.
DMX doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh man, you bring up such a great point how he transcended all the boundaries. He had a song we all know, "Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind." Great party song. You put that on, and all walks of life jammed out to it. But
I like to pause so Lamont can go take a pee.
that's number 3.
We're gonna get on that. That's gonna be a whole different podcast.
My bad.
Prostate issues.
So no, you're good because we're gonna keep tabs on that. But the irony of that, of DMX and who he is and the impact that he had on all of us, was that song, "Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind." If you listen to the lyrics, they are the most inappropriate lyrics.
Oh
in the
no!
world.
But if I'm bringing it to you, crowd, it's better be
Yes, yeah.
niggas been to jail for suck my dick. That's the most disrespectful thing that you can say.
Exactly. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where
Yes.
that's where he's like, all right, this is how I'm starting it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm gonna jump right into it.
But that's
you know
how
what
he
I'm saying?
was. That was him.
That's what I'm saying. So he was so profane, but he still resonated with everyone, men and women.
And I think that's a whole different topic and podcast.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we
yeah,
go
yeah.
against current rap now, current rap back in the
Oh,
day.
buddy, don't do that.
The
Don't
X
do that.
X made everybody feel like
That's a great one, though.
they could be a thug.
Yes.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like everybody. Listen, I'm a thug too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
DMX
some
a
of
thug.
those-
I'm a thug.
Some of those had to be reminded that you're not a thug. Just
Yeah,
because
exactly. There was a thug check at the door. You know what I'm saying? 4:00 was thug check time. You know,
You may be a thug in your room while you're listening to it,
Come
but
on.
outside of the real world, you're not.
LEP, while you was out, you doing your third bathroom run.
I ain't gonna bring up my ailment.
I was telling them that "Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind" was such a phenomenal song, but it was the most inappropriate and derogative song if you listen to it lyrically. He was so offensive, but no one was bothered by it. They just cared that it was him doing what he did and igniting parties. Like he ignited Sweet 16s. Like it was crazy.
Yo, even his love songs.
Oh
like,
my goodness, yes.
you
yes.
know.
I'm politicking with this chicken.
that song did. He's got it going on, runs for him, and then at the end he's like, you got to get back with your man. This ain't working out for us.
But his love song wasn't like LL, I need love.
No.
Yeah,
no.
nah,
It was a different kind of love.
Yeah, it was street, it was
going
hood.
down.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
song and got no now.
When he said that song, he was like, you got 2 kids by this dude. It was wrong for me.
Yeah.
We gonna always be the best of friends. Ha ha. Bad love, boo.
To the end.
Ha ha. That's wild. That's wild. But that was his love song. That was a love song,
My favorite line from one of his songs was, your old man think you stupid. You be like, so I love my baby mother. I never let it go. Yeah, that's because the kid ain't yours.
No, Chris, your favorite verse was you sitting up in the trunk and starting to rock. The hell is hot. And so I'm here now, baby. It's
going down, baby.
Hit the 4 pound, baby. You put that song on, Chris would want to fight anybody.
Let's fight. I'm too old to fight.
Rest in
now.
peace to DMX. Awesome, man. That was awesome. I love
You
that.
would not take this from me, baby.
Not at all. Not at all.
Salute to
Salute
DMX.
to
Yeah,
DMX,
salute
baby.
to DMX.
Shots
man.
fired.
Peace to his family and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, quick story. My brother is a big DMX fan. He's the one who sent me a text even before I even knew that DMX was in the hospital. He was like,
Shout out to Mark.
DMX passed.
Shout out
It's
to
passed.
Mark.
He's in the hospital, and that would cause me to look up online. But the story is, he works with a guy who knows DMX personally, like they're friends, longtime friends. And my brother told him, "Oh, I love DMX." He goes, "Next time he does something, I'm going to call you. You're going to come. I'll introduce you to him and meet him." So
Oh my God, yes.
years later, about 2 years ago, my brother commutes back and forth to another state for his job. So he lives in one state for a couple of weeks, comes back home. He's back home. It's like 12 o'clock at night. His work phone rings, and it's his friend who knows DMX. And he goes, "Are you home?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in New York." He goes, "All right, come up to Poughkeepsie at the Chance. DMX is here." He was like, "What?" He goes, "DMX is here." My brother told me, he goes, "I could hear him in the background. Yo, where my motherfucking Mark at? Tell him to come up. I want to meet that motherfucker." He was like, "DMX wants to meet you."
That's a terrible DMX impression.
That was horrible. No bass in it.
That sound like a bizarre.
That was a soccer present.
I'm not here for my impersonation. And my brother didn't go because he's like, "I didn't have the clothes." He goes, "I only had the clothes I brought back to get cleaned, and it was mostly like sweatpants, like my casual wear." I told her, I said,
That's
"Mark,
what you should have.
Mark, I would have went up there with sweatpants and dress shoes and a wife beater just to say I was at a DMX concert."
Yeah, where are you gonna go
Because
to dress up to go to
his
DMX
friend was
concert? You gonna wear a
bringing
suit?
was sending him video of him on stage at the Chance with DMX.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, "You know that would have been
You
you."
missed an opportunity.
And he goes, I completely regret not ever going. I said, I would have went up there totally dressed like so outrageous just to say, "Hey, I was on stage with DMX."
Yeah.
And he regrets that to this day.
That's awesome.
And I told him, I said, "You're really regretting that now he's passed?" He goes, "Yes."
Awesome.
Moments, man.
Yo, rest in peace to DMX and all these beautiful stories, man. Rest in peace and to him and his family. You know, we will always celebrate him through his music. I do want to talk about the art of snapping.
That you're no good at.
That's funny. Facts. It's funny. I do want to talk about the art of snapping, and the question that I have for everybody is: when did you first feel that you were engaged in an actual snapping session, which means
A snap battle.
cracking jokes at each other? When did you experience your first session, and then your thoughts on it? Some of the highs, some of the lows. I'll tell you right now, like some of the best jokes are from these guys right here. The one thing I will say is like recently, at work, I have a younger operator who works for me. He's probably 21 years young, 22 years young, and he always had some clever jokes to say to me. And I'd be like, okay, whatever. And one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna engage him. Let's just do it. Let's go. I lived this life my whole life. Why would I let him?
Would you tell him, "I'll take the bait"?
Yeah.
I'll join.
I sure did. I'm your Huckleberry.
I'll be your uncle, man.
So I started getting at him, and one of my other operators who works with us, old friend of all of us, is Alfredo, aka Suave. So Suave is like, "Don't do it, man. Don't do it. You're not ready for him." And I killed this kid for 5 days straight. So much so that he told Alfredo that he thought I pre-rehearsed my snaps. So he was like, anything that he said, I was countering him and killing this young man. And I said, he gonna learn today.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "You practice. You were practicing." I was like, "Nah, dude.
Yo.
Just I grew up in this world, in this life." And I told him, I said, "Listen, if you ever hung out with me, I'm not even the funniest one out of my group. I am not. Like, if you enter the round with LEP, Chris Matana, Knockout, you're gonna get destroyed. I'm taking it easy on you." And from that day on, he hasn't made a joke. But so I'm gonna start to the right. Chris Matana, aka Steel, first time you were engaged in a snap session, first time you realized you was funny. Because to me, I feel like you are one of the, if not the funniest dudes I ever met in my whole life.
One of the goats.
Well, I've been told recently over the past year or so that I've been off my game.
You have been
by
off the game
somebody.
for a little while.
I don't see that. I think my raps have just my snaps have just evolved to a different level. I don't actually. I can't pinpoint actually time, but I do remember times, and not tooting my own horn, but
Toot your horn, brother. You've earned it.
I remember like me and you, Reels. We would like show up somewhere, and the minute we'd walk in, somebody would say something and have a snap, and then you hear, "Don't do it."
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it.
How many times we used to hear that?
Yeah, don't do it. You don't poke the gator. Don't wake the bear. And that's been some of the memories. Some of the fun. I mean, you can ask me 2 years ago, where were you at this date? I couldn't tell you, but I could tell you some snap that somebody
jokes.
said.
Yeah.
Somebody said at that time.
Yeah.
I wish when we were setting up the podcast, I had something to record the conversation prior to, because the snaps were coming, and it was just a hilarious conversation, and that's what I kind of enjoy with you guys, is because we'll have a hilarious conversation out of just ordinary shit, and it just evolves. It's just a natural thing. It's not like set up. All right, you two against him, them two, or you two against one-on-one. It's just it just comes natural for us.
Agreed.
That it's part of our lifestyle,
And this is the beauty of it, because the funny thing is, not to cut you off, but the funny thing is, like, we always say, like, we wish we had these technological abilities, 20, 30 years ago, because some of the sessions that we had are memorable. And if we had that captured in film or video, oh, my goodness, what we would have been able to do with that.
If we had a podcast back when we had that, me and you went against Marcus on snapping. And how mad this guy got from us snapping on it too, where he literally got, prove it. I was like, we're telling jokes, and now you want me to prove my joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Show us just get, prove it.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my God.
That was hilarious.
Remember we used to go to parties and dudes and like
They want us to go to just snap.
just go snap, and then dudes would get mad, and like it would make us go harder. You know what I'm saying? Because they would be mad, so we go harder at them, and they would have to sit there and take it, because we was all pretty good with our hands.
We always fought in the group, though. We always fought in the group.
We always that's the love. We always fought in the group, but.
Knockout, how about you, buddy? When was the first time you felt like you was nice at the game, when you were engaged in it?
I never really felt like I was a snapper. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like to chime in, add on, gang up on people. You know what I'm saying? I was a jumper.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, but the funny thing is I remember like they have, rap battles now that cats used to have snap battles. You know what I'm saying?
Should be a versus with snap.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that. I remember like old school cats like Race. You remember two cats used to just be snapping.
Oh my God, Craig Banks.
Craig Banks. I was trying to think of his last name. Craig Banks.
Oh my God, Craig was.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Craig.
Craig Banks told Ron Fox he had a pitfall room in his living room. He had to swing past alligators to get to the kitchen.
Craig Banks told this one guy, I can't remember what he told him. He's like, yo, you sleep with sticks on your knees and elbows, and your mom kicks one out to wake you up. This isn't Roundabout. This is middle school. This is middle school.
This is like early junior high jokes.
Yeah.
But so it was always like, yo, you wanted to be close enough to hear, but you didn't want to laugh so hard because you didn't want motherfuckers to turn and be like, what you laughing at?
Yeah.
And then jump on you. You know what I'm saying? And start tearing you up. You know what I'm saying? Because I never had the most up-to-date sneakers and stuff like that. So you didn't want to be a part of the sneaker snap or whatever. But
that's a good point.
Yeah, it was always classic, good times. But like I said, like y'all was saying, I remember the parties where it was like, here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep.
Started off as a serious event. Now it's a free for all.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome, man.
Do you have a snap that you remember, like either from yourself, from you, or that somebody said that you just that just pops up on your head all the time?
I don't even want to say. I don't even want to say. I was about to say. I don't even want to say one of the most recent.
It doesn't have to be recent.
I mean just from Cigar Vest. You know what I'm saying? When they was referencing, I'm not even going to use a snap, but when they reference that you lost your skills still.
Oh man.
Yep.
But we're going to keep that off the podcast.
I appreciate that because that really hurt me deeply. And I had to go see therapy for that one.
I will tell you one that automatically comes to my head, and it was a Chris Steele snap on me. I had a Jordan shirt on.
That's the one I'm thinking of. That's what he said, yo.
I had a Jordan shirt on. And he said, before you put that shirt on, Jordan's legs were together. I said, what?
That's the one I'm thinking
I
of.
I was like, I'm not snapping no more tonight.
I remember you had a. Nah, I ain't gonna say that.
No,
You had you had a shirt that had a bunch of circles on it. It was like the Olympic shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said, "Those are your 5 stomachs."
Yeah.
But
I like the Jordan joke better.
Yeah, the Jordan. No, that was the one I was thinking of. The Jordan joke was hilarious, man.
Crazy.
But with me, I grew up in it. Like my whole family is quick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like they snap, they talk shit all fucking day long. So I just grew up in it, you know, and mostly I grew up as a quiet kid. But then once I got around you guys and was able to open up, you know, it was just like, and you guys were the same way, you know, you guys snapped, and it was just like, oh man, I'm like, this is my clique. This is I'm here, you know what I'm saying? But
match made in heaven.
Yeah, it was a match made in heaven. Like my whole family, you know, even my daughters, you know what I'm saying? Now, like they snap, man. Like we have snaps especially with my daughters, and they funny as hell.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. Hilarious. I remember we caught, you know, shout out to my man Biz, but we caught him walking home from school one day, and he tried to enter the realm of snapping, and Chris and I gave him a verbal lashing. From like
He tried to take us both on at one time.
From like Kent Street to South Avenue, and then so 2 days later, my brother's like, "Yo, you gotta come home. And I get home, and thank God I was with Chris Quinton and Johnny Reynoso, who was funny back then.
Yeah.
And he had Mookie, Biz, and who else did he have in there? He had a whole living room full of people that just wanted to snap.
Yeah. It's probably Cordell or somebody.
Oh, the whole living room was full. I was like, yo, I'm being ambushed by my brother.
Snap now.
And we went to town on them. I'm talking about rounds. And we went and we killed them. I remember Mookie had like a red suit on. And Johnny kept calling him Red Fraggle. And he just kept going. And like we just kept playing off of that. Oh, man. And it was just a night. And I think that was when we earned our stripes. Because we went up against some big dogs that day, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, the world of snapping is a beautiful thing. You take some wins, you take some losses, but it's beautiful.
Losses aren't fun.
Losses
If you're off, you're off. I mean, you're off all night.
But we've only taken losses really in the clique, in the crew.
Yeah,
We never did. We never took losses outside the circle.
Outside losses.
Facts. That's why I told that. That's why I told that young man at my job. I'm like, listen, man. I said, I am not even the funniest one out of my crew. You will get demolished.
You don't want to do this.
I don't want to do that. But shout out to the world of snapping.
But you know, snapping is just fun when you can just go all night. I mean, a lot of our cigar smoking, especially at Cigar Fest, you fuckers, went on snapping.
Oh, yeah.
That last Cigar Fest, I didn't take too kindly to that. And that's a whole other podcast where I'm going to talk about how you made me feel that night that I was off my game.
I think Cigar Fest can be a podcast in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be, we got to have video to that.
And the funniest one on me, I can say, was that last Cigar Fest where you say I threw up. I think I was just choking
No,
on
you threw
something. And I got back in the car, and Lamont goes, did you see how he tried to play that off like he was spitting?
Yes.
You know, he went, bleh, bleh. And then a minute later, he went,
I'm dying right now. Because it was, so just to put it in perspective for the folks who weren't there.
Yeah.
It was dark.
We were driving. It was dark.
We were all drunk, and we were driving home. We were driving back to the hotel.
Not the driver was drunk.
The driver was drunk. Let's keep it 100. So we were driving back from a bar. We had a great night, great time with friends, and everybody's lighting up cigars, and we're driving, and all of a sudden Chris is like, actually, I was driving. You were
driving.
I was driving. So the driver was not drunk.
The
driver was not drunk.
Hold on. I tried, because I had just got there. I tried to
catch up
with you guys.
Yep, he tried to catch up.
Yep.
And that was my mistake.
Yeah. And then
that hot dog didn't do anything, didn't make it any better,
We were lost a little bit too, right?
Yeah. Oh God, we were lost. That's how hard. We need to get into Reels drivers.
No
GPS skills.
No. I'm still to this day I blame Lamont because he was the one that swore he knew where he was going. His navigational skills were
Wait,
terrible.
hold up.
Terrible.
Prior to after that, when we were going back to Cigar Fest, did we wind up on a ski slope?
I think we did.
Yeah.
Because somebody made a left instead of a right.
Yeah, right instead of a left. Yeah.
Lamont, LEP told me to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame him.
But
anyway, so Chris says we're driving. I'm like, I'm mad at these guys. I'm like, yo, I just want to get home. I'm a little buzzed. I want to get back to the hotel. Come on, man. Tomorrow's another day. And all I hear is pull over. And I'm like, I still drive because I'm mad at everybody. I think I was yelling a little bit. And I was like, yo, let's just get back. And then all of a sudden I hear pull over. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I didn't really pull over. I kind of had to stop. It was
a
stop sign or
slow
something.
stop.
Yeah. So I stopped, and this dude jumps out the car, and all you hear is and that and the next 15 minutes ride and the next 15 minutes of that ride was phenomenal. I couldn't stop laughing.
This is how this dude is.
Me?
Because you. Let's get into that.
Oh shit.
Prior to that, years before, he called me. I went to meet him at Michael's Sports Bar with all his friends from work.
The best.
I got mine.
That was that night. I got mine. That's a whole different story, but we'll get into that.
Man, here we go.
They are doing nothing but Patron shots. Mm-hmm. I don't like Patron.
Shout out to Patron Tequila.
But I'm not going to make myself look like I'm not down with Patron. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking Patron shots and eating chicken wings. Mm-hmm. So instead of me going home, I had to drive somebody home.
Oh yes,
you can't go straight home.
Yeah, you got to drive Chris home when you go out drinking.
You got to drive past the police station, even though you don't live by the police station.
Know.
Yeah.
I live in the total opposite direction, and I didn't bring him there.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
nobody brings him there, but he called you up to hang out. So you could drive
he
home.
He calls you up to hang out in the second shift.
Yeah.
He don't say he's gonna be there at 8. He's like, hey, come through at 11.
Yeah.
Oh, he was fucked up when I got there.
Yeah, exactly. He always is because you
the
DD. You're just getting free drinks for the DD. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all just gonna bring up my shit.
So our bad. I'm chugging beer because the pictures are coming like crazy. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, I see 2 or 3 Patron shots in front of me. I'm like, yep, eating chicken wings. Patron and chicken don't go together.
They actually do.
No, they do not. Now, on the way home, it's like, let's make a quick stop. Where? You need to pick up something for the house? No, let's go to the bar. So we're at the Frog.
Shout out to Barker Frog.
Shout out to Barker Frog.
Went past his house?
Drove past his house to go to the Frog. So he orders drinks. And the minute I get to the bar, I take that first sip of beer, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure was.
I go outside, and I don't tell him. He comes looking for me. I was like, yo, we have to be out.
Like a good friend.
Let me take you home. I was like, you need to drive, though, because I am drunk. So we get in the car. He can't drive. So he calls his girl at the time.
Yeah.
His girl pulls up. Get in the car. I get in the back seat, and we're driving my car.
Yeah.
And I just say, stop. I open the door.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
And I just release everything I had that day. Just Now,
there was broccoli, Philly
what do you think
steaks.
his response was? It could have been, you all right? Or, what's going on? No.
He laughs.
I'm going to call Lamont. This motherfucker throwing up. Lamont! Yo, still set. He's throwing up. Ah!
LEP, how many times did I call you when I was laughing at somebody being sick?
He has you on speakerphone while I'm throwing up out of the back of the car.
I would tell you. Wait. Let
And
Let me tell you this
everybody who's listening to that, hear that laugh right now, because that's all I heard all night long. Because I went back to his house and I stayed there until I sobered up, and that's all I heard. And all he did when he got back to his house is call other people to tell him I got sick.
Let me tell you this story.
Oh man, here we go.
I'm gonna change the name
To protect the
to
innocent.
protect the innocent. So this dude, we'll call him.
Oh, that's great.
We'll call him Jamal. Or call him Jamal G. And I'm in North Carolina at late night, and my phone rings, and this dude just goes, "Yo, this dude peed in my plate."
I remember that story, yes, because I got the call the next day.
Jamal G.
Jamal G.
Wow.
peed in my plate.
I'm dying. Right
Because he texted me and
Shout out to Jamal.
call
Shout
me.
out to my man Jamal.
Jamal was at my house. Call me right now.
Yo.
And he's like, "Yo," I wake up. And what'd you say it looked like? Like some horror flick
I
or
said he
something?
looked like the body from Sixth Sense. I was like, I see
pee
I
people.
see pee people.
He said he wakes up and this dude is in the corner. He had one of them tall plants.
Yeah, like
that
the
go in
Blair Witch
corner.
Project. Like
Yeah.
the Blair Witch Project.
And this dude is standing up peeing. He had, invited the dude to stay the night, you know what I'm saying? Because he was nice or whatever. He stayed the night. And he's peeing in the corner. And I was like, "What'd you do?" He was like, "I scolded him."
Like a child.
Like a child. Like, "Look what you did."
Oh, wait.
So I said,
You know what I said to him?
he's like, "Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody." He was like, "Don't tell nobody."
Yep.
He's like, you know what I'm saying, our boy, peed in my plant. He got so messed up. He stood up and peed in the corner of my room. And I said, "Hold on. Fuck that." So I called my homeboy.
called Jamal?
I called.
hold on.
No, I ain't called Jamal.
Yeah, here's the ending of that.
I called one of our homeboys, another dude.
Here's the end of that conversation. I told him everything. I told LEP, I'm like, "Yo, this just happened. That just happened. I'm so mad. I had to have a talking to with him. I scolded him."
Speaking of P. Speaking of P.
And so,
Speaking of P, LEP is
Number
is-
four.
is-
Listen
is
again,
up
number
again.
four.
Number four.
Number 4, Pittsburgh for LEP.
He talked himself up.
the noble oak. So I said to Lamont, I was like, "Yo," so I tell him the whole thing that happened. I'm laughing. I'm having a good time telling the story. It was funny, whatever. You can clean it up. And I'm like, "Lamont, don't tell nobody the story. There's dead air." And all of a sudden he goes, "Okay, Chris." So when he
I won't
says,
tell nobody else.
right. So when he says, "Okay, Chris," I'm like, he's gonna tell the world. So I was like,
I remember when you text me
yeah.
and we talked, I said to you, "Did you put his nose in it?" To teach him, you don't
Bad.
do that.
Bad.
Bad guy. Bad.
Yeah. Bad friend. Oh, man. That's the beautiful world we live in, man.
But that's not the first time, though, with Jamal.
No, there's a lot of Jamal stories. That might be a whole other podcast. A lot of Jamal stories.
We love you, Jamal.
Yeah, shout out to Jamal. But that's a great thing. Let's move on to let's talk about we talked about mortality a little bit ago, and I want to hear everyone's perspective on where they are right now, how they feeling about today's world, and what are they trying to contribute? Because we're in the fourth quarter of our lives, right? We're in the fourth quarter, so
Shit.
all right, third quarter.
Dude, I'm half a century years old. I'm over a half a century years old.
Yeah,
Yes, there's some things and it sucks. I wish somebody, or if I had the ability to go back to myself and tell myself on certain things, stop being a dumbass. I would, because it would have made my life so much better. I wish we had the multiverse back then.
so not to stop you, but I want to hear what you have to say. But that's the question that I want to bring to the table, and I want it to go over. Like, if you were able to go back and talk to your
To myself.
To
tell myself.
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
What would that conversation be like?
That conversation would be more like, hey, sit down, dumbass. I know you don't want to hear this, but you need to hear this. Stop doing the shit you're doing. And I'm trying to tell my oldest son, because he is so much like me, and I tell him, you are just like me. And
but he's way more smarter than you.
Wow, really? For reals?
He's a lot better looking, too.
He's a lot better looking.
I give him that. No, I give him that. That's why
taller.
I just got him up on his beard game because he was looking like a terrorist at one time because it was so just out of whack.
And even then, he looked better.
Wow. Damn,
Go ahead, tell your story.
No. I'm going to soak that in, what you just said to me.
Shout out to my buddy.
I appreciate that shit, you prick. But yeah, there are a few things I would like to tell my young self to say, hey, stop doing that or stop being like that or that way. And when you guys hit 50, how many years before you hit your 50?
2 years.
What?
2.5.
Mark?
3.
There comes a certain time when you hit a certain age that you have a whole life perspective and you think about the dumb shit you've done. And you hope you can instill that information onto your children so they don't repeat the same mistakes you've done. And with my oldest, she's
And
very
knock
well
out, you're
rounded.
coming up next, so think about what you want to.
But my oldest boy is so much like me. I would think it's not even funny how much he is like me. And I'm trying to sit him down. But as like me at that age, you don't want to hear anything. You got the world by the balls, because you're young and you think you know it all at the time. And that's what I'm trying to instill in him now, that, hey,
All great points.
ground yourself, humble yourself, because you don't want to carry this on as an older adult, which I do carry a lot of baggage from.
It's hard to be humble at a young age, though. Because think
That's
about it,
true.
we were all super arrogant.
Yeah.
I believe we were all arrogant, but we had reasons to be arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were good people. But you have to, at some point, self-reflect and recognize,
You have to realize certain things, certain ways, certain your actions do have repercussions and can affect you
agreed.
years down the line. And that's my retrospect on my life. That,
Point.
Certain things I shouldn't have done or shouldn't have said that are affecting me now, my actions and stuff. And
That's real.
hopefully I can instill that to him. Mark?
What was the question?
If you were able to have the conversation with the 20-year-old knockout, what would you say?
So the 20-year-old knockout, I would probably go
How old is your oldest, Mark?
further. My oldest is probably
26.
gonna be 20. Oh shit,
But your
25. It's gonna be
in the
20.
military.
Yeah.
He's in the military. Thank you for him and his service.
Yeah, so if I was to go back, I would probably go back to actually a little further, or maybe 20 years, because that would put me right back in high school.
Sure.
And just it doesn't pay to be reckless. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times as younger, like when we were younger, we didn't care. We didn't give a fuck about who we fight,
Yeah,
we
because
hurt,
you
who we
didn't
beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you didn't think you had repercussions
Yeah,
back then. You were young.
exactly. So the actions that you take at such a young age will help form you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like your high school
100%.
your high school years are so critical to basically setting yourself up for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You obviously live with the things that you go through, but you think about the things you could have done
Sure.
if it weren't for things that you had done. And, you can never go back and change that. But like you said, it's hard trying to tell somebody with the same mentality that you had back then. Like
Yeah.
I always think, like humbly, we all think like, yeah, we bad. You know what I'm saying? We was bad. We bad. And nobody better try to tie me now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the 20-year-old me would destroy me right now.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I put my money on you. I would put my money on you.
But when I walk, you know what I'm saying? So when you, and that's why I kind of think, too, like, when you're in the street, you're approaching, like, young men and, you know what I'm saying, like, crazy kids these days, like, they'll pull out on you. They'll, you know what I'm saying? They're reckless. Like, you don't have that same mentality that somebody that young has. So I don't know if that helps answer the question at all.
It does, absolutely.
But that's basically, you know, like, I think if I could go back to here, you know what I'm saying, I could have made this decision a little different. Like, at this point in time, I can't really say, like, oh yeah, I have these regrets, because I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I feel life isn't over, but I feel like some sort of a success right now.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
the best thing that we could do is try to guide our kids. You know what I'm saying? Steer them away from, you know, those incidents. Like, as much as we talk about getting drunk and blacking out and passing out and how much fun that was, like, we terrified to think our kid is, you know what I'm saying, drunk, throwing up in the corner on the street somewhere with nobody to protect them. You know what I'm saying? Where to us, it was no big deal.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Drinking 40 ounces at 16, 17, 18.
12.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're going to do it. Like Chris was saying, like, you know, at that age, younger dudes, they do have the world by their balls. You know what I'm saying? I would just say, health-wise, you know, you got to realize you're not going to keep that Adonis figure. And you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't stay on top of your health, it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? Health, that comes with, you know what I'm saying, youth. You know what I'm saying? Everything, you're in the prime of your physical shape. You know what I'm saying? And you don't realize that until you get older and your physical abilities deteriorate. You know, that you can't walk in the gym right now and just throw up 350 pounds. You know, but at some point in time, it was just second nature to you, and you thought it would always be there.
Speaking for himself.
I mean,
True.
I might be. You know what I'm saying? There are some people that.
Oh, yeah. You're speaking to the audience. Yeah. Because nobody at this table was throwing up 350 pounds but you.
Except my
But the same, like we were talking earlier about like accolades.
Yeah,
like
no doubt.
you jump 2110 or almost 22 feet in the long jump. Okay, you probably can't jump 15 feet now.
No,
but back then you thought, shit, the older I get, the further I'm gonna be able to jump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not how it really happens in life. You know.
I tried to kick my daughter last night, and she laughed at how low my leg was. I thought I got.
But
my
in your
leg.
mind,
In my mind, I thought I was almost, looking like Van Damme, and she was like,
That's
"Yo,
hiking.
look how low your leg was."
Because we all have kids that are roughly around the same age with our kids. At what point did you realize that talking with your children, you're like, wow, we are a totally different generation and on totally different levels on certain things?
Yeah, with the older kids, it was. I don't remember what point, but you just know it, you feel it, because it's just like, and you know what it is. It is a generational gap there, but I think also the experiences, saying like what we've done in our lives, to make life better for them, saying that they don't have to go through. So there's like certain, mentality that they don't have that we had when we were younger, which is good, saying that, like what Mark was talking about, there's certain things that we did at times was, just because of the environment we grew up in, saying, and, some of it was survival instincts, saying some of it, was, us being, young and stupid. But, we have, made it better for our children, saying so they don't have to make the same decisions, saying as critical as we are as parents, saying they don't have to make the same decisions that we have, go through, what we have, which is a good thing. But with the, you were talking about.
What would you tell
My 20-year-old self. I would probably say don't get a job. You know what I'm saying? That's like start a business. This is what I'm trying to instill in my kids now. You know what I'm saying? Start a business. So I don't have you don't have to. I see it as just begging people for jobs. You know what I'm saying? And get stuck in that rat race. You know what I'm saying? Start a business. I don't have many regrets. You know what I'm saying? Because it all formed. And I was lucky. You know what I'm saying? With like a lot of the things that I've done in life and haven't seen any real punitive repercussions from it. But I was lucky in that way. But aside from that, like I don't have really any regrets. All of it formed who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Without all that stuff, I wouldn't be the man I am today. But yeah, it's just that there probably more so thinking back, maybe not jump into the workforce because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like that was since I was a kid, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. But I got into working, and then here I am, a couple years away from 50, and still working. You know what I'm saying? Which was not my intent when I was a kid. But aside from that,
at the same time, we weren't given anything. Everybody at this table, like our mentality was, if we need to get something, we better start working.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because nothing's being handed to us the way things are handed to our kids. Or, I mean, I know you got older kids, you got younger kids, same thing with you. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with you. Like, basically, my gap isn't as great, but my 17-year-old got way more than my 25-year-old.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's, like speaking on what Lamont is saying, like the mentality is like if you did want something, you got to get out there and work. Yeah. Like nobody came from a long line of what I'm saying. Yep. We're trying to create that legacy right now to set our generations up for what I mean, to have something. Nobody here had, I don't think, but nobody here had houses left to them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Real estate or any, just general capital left to them, which we're trying to be able to do for our kids, our grandkids.
Yes.
So, I mean, the knock isn't, for me, it's not like the advice isn't don't work. It's probably try not to work for somebody else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying.
Work for yourself.
Yeah, don't
you know what I'm saying? Work for yourself.
Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. So you don't, you're not asking somebody to take a vacation.
Mm-hmm. That's what I try to instill with my oldest son. Is that, work smarter, not harder. And I try to tell my kids, have something to fall back on. Learn a trade. Learn something. Because what you want to do doesn't work out, you have something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wish somebody would have told me back then, because then I would have had something else to fall back on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you got to get yourself in a place where you're not dependent upon one job, where you have the opportunity to say, all right, I don't like this, so I'm going to go in this direction. And my daughter, who's my oldest, and she kind of figured that out. She's going back to school. She has her bachelor's already, but she's going back to school to learn on something totally unrelated to her bachelor's.
That's my goddaughter, by the way.
Just to fall back on, because she sees now, especially with the pandemic, when that happened, that what she went for totally is not working out now. Mm-hmm. So now she's trying to learn something else. And I'm trying to instill that with my oldest boy, fall back on something else. Get something else you like to do.
Great message.
Learn it.
Great message.
Because, you'll have that safety net that, all right, this my first career or my first job's not working out. I don't like it, which I thought I would. I'll fall back on this.
So, and you can't conquer women for a living.
No, you can't.
It's not a good career.
No. But you got to put some tools in your toolbox. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the lesson, throughout life, gain these experiences and gain knowledge and gain training, in certain things, and, just think of it as you're putting another tool in your toolbox. And like you said, you're building something to you're building something to live on, or you're building something to fall back on. So that's what it is,
Yeah, my middle son, he's kind of picked that up too. And he even told me, because he told me he was looking for something. He's still in high school, but he's found another direction he wants to go in. And I was like, well, why are you doing that? He goes, well, Dad, you've been telling me for all these years I have something to fall back on. Now I want something to fall back on. And at that moment, I was like, oh, my God, I did a parent thing. I gave him some advice. He recognizes it, and he's taking it, all right, yeah, maybe the old man's right on this aspect.
Great points.
What about you, man?
Man, if I could go back and talk to 20-year-old Chris Real, I would tell him, listen, man, do not take LEP to Seafood City in Newburgh. But that's another podcast. I would also say, do not drive. Wow. Do not drive after leaving 90 and Broadway in Newburgh after hitting 3 cars in the parking lot. Wow. I would tell him,
do not go to Newports with Bubba.
Do not, yeah. That's what I would tell my 20-year-old me. I would tell him, honestly.
Just sum that all up.
Yeah.
Stop drinking.
Yes. I would tell 20-year-old Chris to appreciate life more, value life more. Feel good about every day you wake up to. I would tell 20-year-old Chris to surround himself with positive, like-minded people who are all about prosperity and growth and not being stagnant. I think for so long in my life, I surrounded myself with so many. I have the luxury of being around you guys, which are probably the greatest men I ever met in my life in terms of just being good friends and also having good information and also checking me when I needed to be checked. And
you need to be checked a lot, too, because you be
drawing.
You're a habitual line stepper.
Yeah, I'd be on my bullshit. But I think that
why he wears Nikes.
I think that for a large part of my life, I felt that I needed to continue to embrace everyone that I grew up with, till the end of time. But at some point, you have to start recognizing that the people that you were with at 20 are probably not going to be the same person at 30 or 40. And at some time, you have to let go. Not that you need to sever all ties, but you need to have limits with them. With you guys, it's unlimited. Like, I'll kick it with you guys all the time. But there are some folks that I know now that I will say hi and bye to. They probably won't get invited to that barbecue or to a hangout just because that's not the kind of person I want to be around. No disrespect to anyone in the world, but I feel like for such a long time, I tried to appease everyone that I was around just because I felt I had to. And I feel like I know now that I don't have to. And I wanted the 20-year-old me to know that, no, for your betterment, for your health, for your safety, not everyone that you grew up with will always be the right person around you and throughout your entire course of your life. And that's what I would love to say to 20-year-old me.
So we all have sons, and yours is married now, but I try to preach that, like, as far as women and girls go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, as they, you know what I mean? Hey, this ain't your last piece of ass. Mm. And, you know what I'm saying? And this ain't her last. You know what I'm saying? If you this ain't you're so young. I mean, that's just facts. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
That's facts. When my oldest first started dating, my first thing I said, "Yo, it's gonna hurt." He's like, "Yo, what are you talking about? It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt when y'all break up, bro." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt.
And that's good good that you are able to say that to him, because my biggest regret in life was my parents were predominantly Spanish speaking, and I grew up and I moved up here when I was 5 years old, and my environment did not advocate a Spanish dialect. You know what I'm saying? So I actually had to get more fluent in English just to be successful. And I couldn't have real good conversations with my dad or my mom, you know what I'm saying? And their version of success was come to the States, get a job, pay rent. You know, no one taught me about home owning or business owning or none of that. Like I learned that through you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like through our dialogue. And that's something that I wish that I had. I'm not taking away from anything from my parents. I love them to death, you know, but I just wish that was something that the 20-year-old version of me had. So that's what
absolutely.
That's another thing I would say to him.
Well, same thing with me. It's like, you know, my mother was the predominant role in the dynamic when she was married, and it was always, you know, make sure you get a job. You have to get a job. And I see it different. I mean, yeah, you need a job, but you need a job that you like, that you love doing. And that's what I'm trying to instill with my kids is like find something you like to do, not something that you need to do. You're at that age now where you can make the decisions where you don't have to need a job. Unlike with me, you know, I got into the job because what happened? I had kids. And I wish I would have prepared myself prior to that.
Or claim the ones that you didn't claim.
Well, that's a whole different podcast, Chris. Thank you for airing my dirty laundry. Appreciate it. It's always good friends like that can ground you.
You know, we got to check each other.
Yeah, you prick.
Man.
Know, get yourself right first before, and I wish somebody would tell you, get right with yourself before you start taking on the responsibility of a family, a relationship, and everything. Make sure you're okay with yourself. And that will transform over to a healthy relationship. And I was king of non-healthy relationships.
Stuff.
You know,
one of my non-healthy relationships was being friends with you for 30 years.
That was your benefit. You fuck.
I'm switching over to the Caldwell. That's my favorite cigar. So that's one that I always find here at Big Ash Cigars. So I just wanted to share that.
Blind man's bluff,
That's
baby.
That's it. It's my favorite. I actually took the last one, so I don't know if you have more or you need to restock, but I just took the last one.
Make sure you take the box with you.
Lamont, I will. Along with like 10 others. Lamont is pouring himself another glass of the Noble Oak. This is the Double Oak Rye, which is a really great.
I, too, have decided to indulge in a little Noble Oak.
Oh, okay. All right.
I started off with some Pure Leaf honey green tea.
All right.
That was in the morning hour.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Now we approach the 1:30 mark.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Well,
Hey.
we can wrap up now. I think this was a very interesting and productive podcast. Any last words from anybody?
We'll go right to left.
Right to left. Mark?
Right to left. I think it was a pleasure being here. Like I said last time, when I text y'all had too much fun without me on your first podcast. You know, I appreciate y'all keeping the topics in line with something that I knew about. So
Yeah, we
just
can get into Winter Soldier.
exactly. So
any
next
comments on the previous podcast or what we're doing now for the audience? So, and if the audience has anything, they can always email Herf House Podcast on Gmail if any ideas or comments and concerns where the podcast headed. But we'll go right to left. Mark, anything?
Like I said, I wasn't present for the first one. It sounded like it was, you know, an awesome conversation with like-minded individuals, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this in the future. So, you know, this once again, you know, is a wrap up. Much respect and love go out to the family of DMX and the young lady that died from Pinky Blinders. I'm not really up on that show either, but I'm sure her family's feeling it just the same as anyone else who's lost a loved one.
Absolutely.
Promote the lounge.
Big Ass Cigar Lounge, Route 448, 376, Hopewell Junction, New York.
Boom. Home away from home.
Home away from home. We're always here. Stop in, say hi, have a smoke, take one for the road.
Yep.
And, you know.
Awesome selection, by the way.
Lamont?
Same. Shout out to DMX and rest in peace. And yeah, it was just great to do another podcast with you guys. This is something that I've been talking about doing for years, and this is what we have been doing since we met each other. So, you know, feels great to actually start putting it out there and letting other people saying view it and comment on it. The first one seemed like it had some good responses from people that we knew, and I enjoyed the time I had with you brothers.
Chris, Rios.
Yes, sir. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day. Play some DMX all day today if you can. Enjoy his music. Pay homage to him and his family. Rest in peace to one of the greatest rappers in history. And enjoy your life, man. Just have fun with it. Life is good. Tomorrow's never promised. Enjoy the day. Be around great people such as the guys I'm with right now. And just do what you do, man. Do what you do and enjoy it. Take care of your families. Be a positive contributor to society. And have fun with every day that you're here, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. And I want to thank you guys for allowing us to use your establishment and your great conversation.
And I think Knockout Lamont just said that everything that we drank and smoked today was free. Yeah. Okay.
No, of course. It's
And-
part of the,
Except the
it's part
T-shirts. not everything you wear.
and not apparel it has to be paid for. But I think I want to thank you guys for this podcast and for the first one also. I do love the fact that it's kind of a natural flow, that it's, we don't really have to structure, we just talk, and that's what herfing's about. Smoking cigars, you just talk, you bring up conversation, you get everybody's point of view, and there's no hurt feelings or anything at the end of the conversation because you're just talking.
The one thing I just want to add, you asked for feedback. I think that there were some folks that were asking about what's the criteria. I mean, maybe if we could add to the title what the subject matter is.
It's usually in the description. If I didn't put it in, I apologize. But I usually put it in the
I don't know that we did
description
or not.
when we
But
post.
someone mentioned it. I don't know if it was there or not. But if we just outline what we're talking about, who cares where the conversation goes? But if we outline here some of the things we're going to talk about, because some folks might say, I want to hear about that, or hey, I'm not a big Marvel fan. Maybe I'm not going to tune in today. But I think we outlined just some of the things that we're definitely plan on hitting. It'll intrigue folks to tune in.
Like I said, if anybody who's listening to this, if anybody has any comments or a direction you would like us to go in, please send an email to Herf House Podcast at gmail.com. We'll gladly go in that direction. It's great having time with you guys here and having this place, this establishment, the Herf House, to sit and just relax. It's like a home away from home here.
Absolutely.
And if anybody who's listening is in the area, please stop by the Herf House and sit down, have some good cigars and good conversation. There's always good people in it. I've never met, in any lounge I've been to, I never met anybody who was not a
Your
good
cousin.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's
For
an
everybody. Amazing podcast.
Family
I met-
Reunion Podcast.
For everybody who's listening,
And your cousin needs to be here for that one.
yes, I met a long-lost cousin that I didn't know I had until coming to the lounge.
Yeah.
So the lounge, it's just about bringing people together. I think any cigar lounge, and we've been to quite a few, and it seems to be the same dynamic. People come in, greet everybody. Everybody's cordial.
Big Ash is
everybody's
cut
nice.
above. I'm just saying.
And yeah, thank you for having the Big Ash Lounge, because I doubt if this establishment wasn't up and running, I would ever have met a long-lost cousin with so many family connections.
Memories.
If it wasn't for this place.
I would have never met the Caldwell cigar, so I just want to put that out there.
You're whack. It's always about him. That's the other part.
No, the Caldwell cigar.
always about Chris.
It's a plug for Big Ash.
It's a plug.
It's a plug for
Yeah.
Another plug. We do
And drink
weddings
Coke.
and
Pepsi
bar
sucks.
mitzvahs, bachelor
Bachelorette
and
parties.
bachelorette parties.
painting parties, anything you
Private
want to
events.
do. The Big Ash Cigar Lounge is here for your cigar smoking needs. Thank you guys again. This is the Big Ash Cigar Lounge, and this is the Herf House Podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and on Anchor. So if you would like to listen, any one of those outlets, you'll be able to get the Herf House Podcast. And I thank you, gentlemen, again. And-
Before you wrap it up,
Sure.
can I get a
Cheers. Cheers to everybody. Shots. Thank you
Sorry
again,
about
and
that.
welcome for those who are new to listening. We appreciate everybody who's listened so far, and we thank you once again. Herf House Podcast here on location at the Big Ass Cigar Lounge. Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace.
God bless. Dude, that was awesome. That might be our new closing.
Shots. Yeah, I like that.